Hello and welcome back to Knock Off the Perch, a Manchester United podcast. We kick off the Ruben Amorim era with a match against Ipswich Town. We'll be hoping to climb the table from a disappointing 13th place, wherein McKenna's men will be hoping to upset the odds after their first win in the Premier League against Tottenham. Where do we see this match going, Aruj? How have you been?
Doing great, doing great. Very excited for Amorim's first game. And yeah, Ipswich are a tricky opponent, right? They hadn't won a game till they faced Spurs last game week, and they went on to win that 1-2. So that is, finally off the block. Kieran McKenna gets Ipswich off the block, and it is going to be a tricky one. It's not easy to go away to Ipswich, although they haven't won at home yet in the Premier League, but they've had three draws of the five games. And yeah, it's going to be a tricky one, but can't wait to see how Amorim sets the United team. I think let's get right into it. He's been talking a lot about certain ideas. He's been talking a lot about how is it that he sets up this team and the belief he's got in players. And the English media is right at him, right? United job of the manager, English media comes straight at you, asking questions like this: these players got Eric Ten Hag the sack, and yet you believe in them. How does that happen? What did you make of all of that?
Oh yeah, he didn't lose his cool, did he? He was very calm, very charismatic in all his answers. He always said the right things. He mentioned how till the time these players don't prove him wrong, he will have their back. He'll never criticize them in public. He has mentioned that multiple times. He was given an opportunity to comment on the Kase and Rashford scene wherein they left for United States during the international break. Gary Neville made a big deal out of it. Gary Neville ended up talking to him about it in the interview. He mentioned the club allowed them 5 days, and it is their prerogative where they choose to go. So yeah, very well.
It's like saying you have a leave and you chose to vacation in that leave, and that's a problem. I mean, I think, and even some of the legends, I don't know, was it Scholes or somebody else, they were also questioning this, right? I mean, come on, man, give players a break. You can't be questioning each and every move of theirs. So yeah, I think I'm fully with Amorim there.
Yeah, definitely. He talked about a lot about his style of play as well in both of his interviews with Gary Neville as well as and he
Professor
mentioned
Hill.
that changing the formation doesn't change much. It only changes the positioning, and the football principles basically remain the same. So, what do you make of that? What are we expecting?
Yeah, so I think one of the things that stood out for me, he said you might see similar players to who were on the pitch the last time we played, but you will definitely see a different idea. And I think this ideology, he's been talking about a lot. So I am very intrigued as to what are some of the changes that we get to see. And the great thing is that he has pointed out two things that have been the biggest challenge for United in the last 1.5 years, I would say. We lose the ball often. I have talked about how much some of our passing accuracy is very poor. We tend to not make the right passes. We don't do the basics right, and which is where it is a problem. And he talked about it. And then all those big gaps that we saw in our play, at least last year, this year has been much better. But last year we were for some reason defending deep, attacking high, and that was bringing those gaps in between. So he talked about both. So let's see how he improves that.
Oh yeah, what stood out for me was when he talked about his idea. His basic idea of football is all the 11 men on the pitch knowing what to do
Yeah,
at any given point of time. When the ball is in defense, midfield, or the final third, each of the player have to know their roles, have to know their responsibilities, have to know what happens next.
which you
And
didn't
that to
feel
me,
with Eric Ten Hag, right? That
never,
that was never the
never.
case.
Even the person who's holding the ball, I don't know, he knew where he wants to go. No one seemed on the same wavelength. I've talked multiple times about a pressing structure, which is very disjointed. So yeah, to have finally someone say that yeah everyone will be on the same page, and that is my first thing which I want to do after coming to the club. That is very encouraging for me.
Exactly. Also, the fact that there were multiple questions I asked around whether do you want to stick to your idea, do you want to change it with regard to the players that are available. He said, I will always choose 100% our way. And I think there it was a bit of a mix between English, but he was essentially referring to his way there and bring making it the United way for now. So he's going to stick to what he knows best. He knows works best and has uh, he has been successful with. So yeah, I think those ideas it will be lovely to see. Also, the fact that questions around this being an impossible job, sixth permanent manager since Sir Alex and all, I think he put it out there. I mean, there have been challenges. He almost went out to say that I don't know what have been the issues, and they have been great managers. He didn't diss any of the managers, so that was great as well. He gave full respect to Eric Ten Hag also, which I believe he deserves. He has done well for Ajax. He has won us two trophies as well. But he's, as he says, a dreamer. He believes he's the right person for the job, and yeah, let's hope he gets it done.
Oh yeah, let's hope we have are expecting a lot of players are coming back from the international break quite late. They won't have had many sessions with him. So yeah, it'll be nice to see if everyone is in fact on the same page or how much time it will. I think the first game will give us a decent idea how far the development and how much time the development will take place. And it will also give us a good idea about who his preferred players are because
Yeah,
most of all, I think we have most of our players available for this game. Not many
yeah, except for
unavailable
Maguire,
players.
I think most of them are fit.
True,
So
true.
yeah, and we in the opposition dugout, a very familiar face in Mckenna is going to be there, and with Mckenna, it's been a tricky one for United, right? He was part of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's setup, and there was a lot of talk about the fact that he's doesn't know coaching, all these rumors coming around, and I don't know whether these were made up by the media or there was some truth to that. But a lot of players didn't trust McKenna's coaching and all of that. But he is very respectfully left after Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was sacked from the job, and he took up the Ipswich job, and since then he's been doing wonders. He joined
Actually,
them. Yeah.
I think most of the rumors were by players who were not playing. I say this because
Hmm.
Kieran McKenna was part of. He started being part of Mourinho's backroom stuff. He was an under 18
Uh,
manager for
Correct.
United. That was his first job for United, and then he came under Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho left, but United management decided to keep McKenna. Actually, Ole decided to keep McKenna and Carrick both. After Ole was sacked, and yet McKenna stayed in the job under Carrick. After Carrick moved on, McKenna stayed under Ralph Ragnick as a assistant coach. Only after Ralph Ragnick left was
Yeah.
McKenna released off the job, and since then, in 3 years in Ipswich Town, he has managed to get them two back-to-back promotions from
Yeah.
EFL League One to Championship, from Championship to Premier League. And even though he hasn't won a lot in Premier League, the Chiefs have given him his backing because he has really good credit in Ipswich Town. They do regard him very highly, and I think in Premier League he's regarded very highly. I say this because in the summer when the Chelsea job was open, when the United job was open,
Yeah. There were
he was
rumors
one
that
of the
if
people.
yeah.
Yeah, he was interviewed by for both the high jobs, and everyone around him do believe that he will, end up at one of the big jobs in Premier League or in Europe at
Oh,
some point of
definitely,
given time.
definitely. And some of the records go on to show that, right? He plays a progressive style of football. He is very attacking. I think in the full season at League One, the team scored 101 goals in 46 games. In the championships, again, the team scored 92 goals in 46 games. So he has that attacking flair. And even in the Premier League, we have seen, even though they are sitting in the relegation spots, they've only won one game. But their attacking numbers are relatively okay, I believe. I mean, they have been ensuring that they continue to play a progressive style even if they don't have the best attacking players in the as per the Premier League.
Uh, I feel Ipswich and Kieran McKenna's strength isn't defects, not in their attacking play. I say this because they lie at the bottom of shot making actions, shots, touches within the box. They have actually found it quite hard to adapt to the Premier League attacking wise. I'm saying.
Yeah,
They play a 4-2-3-1, a double pivot, which is quite, they try to dominate position, but that isn't translating to a lot of chances in the box. In
Yeah,
fact, I think they scored 12 goals till now, and almost 50% of these are scored by Liam Delap. So they
yeah,
have a heavy
correct,
reliance on this Liam Delap guy, who has, who's being touted as the next one of the next big thing, as he's the next big surprise from the Premier League. He's done pretty well in this season.
correct, correct. So I think where the challenge for McKenna and Ipswich has been that while they're continuing in the same shape, same form, where how they were playing in the championship and then in or earlier in League One, but I think the jump from championship to Premier League is very, very steep, and which is where I think the quality of players make a lot of difference. So if we just look at the pure statistics, they've been conceding close to 2.5 xG against every game. So which means they're giving away a lot of chances. And at Portman Road, their xG conceded is relatively better at 2.04, but how much they are able to create going forward for them is also lower at 1.08. So if we just go by the statistics that we have seen so far, I think United will get a lot of chances, and but McKenna's team will also play on that counter. And if just look at the opponents, right? I think they have played Aston Villa at home, where they lost, where they drew 2-2. Then at when they faced Everton at home, they lost 0-2 to that. So there is a bit of that inconsistency, but they continue to be tricky against Brentford at their home, and Brentford has been one of the best teams at home so far in the Premier League. They managed to get 3 goals, and Brentford just won it towards the end 4-3. And then they went away to Tottenham and gave them that defeat. So they are tricky for sure. It's not going to be easy, but yeah, I think we will see a lot of chances in this game.
Definitely, definitely, we will.
Let's talk about how they've set up in some of the games, and I bring in the Villa game as well because that was a game against a relatively higher ranked opposition at home, and then Leicester and Spurs were the last two games that they faced. What do you make of it? I think one thing that I noticed was all of their players on the left tend to perform well in games. So whether it is Leaf
Definitely.
Davis or whether it is Smodix who starts there, and in one of the games I think it was Clark who started there. I think the players on the left tend to do well when the team does well. So I think, and later a little later we'll talk about how we have seen some of their goals also coming from the left. So that's a important one for us. Can whoever is playing at right center back and right wing back, I think that will be a important play for United to take care of.
Oh yeah, I mean, you mentioned Hutchinson. Hutchinson has been a real find. In fact, Hutchinson and Delap they got for a combined value of 33 million, and it has been like bargain of the season, I'd say. Both of these players are very highly touted in the Premier League, and they would be looking at bigger moves post this season, definitely.
Correct,
Delap is like they very heavily rely on Delap, you already mentioned, and Hutchinson also, his creativity is the key for making most of the chances. They also got Calvin Phillips this season, but
correct.
he hasn't performed up to his levels and he was suspended till the last game. So he'll also be making a comeback against United.
I think
So yeah,
Calvin
we can
Phillips
expect.
was one of those signings who comes with a Premier League pedigree, who will help them, transition the play from defense to attack well, will hold the team well in defense. But I think that has not happened so much. So Ipswich will be hoping that comes through. But I think for United, when we face them next, it will be important for whoever are playing in that middle two, the destroyer and the progressor. I think they take care of Calvin Phillips. So I think if that happens, we should be in a good place.
Definitely. I have zero sympathies for Calvin Phillips. The man comes from Leeds. He was given a very good offer at United, chose to go to City,
City, yeah,
City, didn't do well there, chose to go to West Ham, didn't do well there.
yeah,
So yeah, like I'm very evil that way. I love to see the downfall of a person who rejects United. So yeah, I have zero sympathies toward Calvin Phillips. I hope
yeah,
we boss him. I'm pretty sure that we will boss him in the midfield this game as well.
yeah. And I think a call out for on the left, most likely Smodix will start, and he was sensational in the championship last season. He scored 27 goals for Blackburn Rovers. I'm not sure whether he was playing up top for them or whether he was playing in a similar position, but he definitely has a finish in him. And I was looking at the stats actually. The XG created for Delap and Smodix is pretty much the same. It's just that Delap's finishing has been better so far this season. So I think that entire play from the left is very critical. And I was looking at the highlights for some of the games, and these are on the right. You will see the right and bottom are the two goals they scored against Villa. Both the attack was built from the left, and they scored that goal. And even the second goal against Spurs, they pretty much created that from the left. So I think that is going to be very critical. What do you make of that?
Definitely, definitely. I think Mazaroy and Delict, these two are the ones with whom I'm assuming will be starting on that side of
Maybe
the
Dalo
back
and
four.
Delict, right? Mazarawi might start on the left wing back.
Uh, Again, it's a it's a age-old question. Who between these two
Well,
starts at
just even I
right
think
back and
Root
left back?
sort of figured it out towards the end. He was starting Mazarawi on the left after another poor performance by Dallo on the left. So that's just my hunch. I don't know. It's a black box right now how we will set up.
Whoever it is on the right hand side will have their hand soul, and Delete also will be very key. So back three turning into back five, as good and as secure as it sounds, can be really dangerous because
Yeah,
it's a new system for everyone. It can leave gaps behind. There can be some ambiguity and who's supposed to defend who. We don't know how much zonal marking and how much man versus man marking will be doing in the set pieces. So it's a lot of new information for a lot of players. We don't we haven't had a lot of training sessions with the new management, and it's like five new assistant coaches who have come in. So
yeah,
yeah, it's a lot of information to input. But yeah, like you correctly mentioned that to the left, Ipswich would be dangerous, and it will be hard for our defense to contain them.
correct, correct. And then we spoke about Delap as well. His finishing has been top notch. And given that we'll be playing a new setup with three center backs, we are not sure if all the players will be on that same wavelength to take care of that, and Delap can be lethal. So I think his battle with our center backs is going to be critical for us, so that we don't give him a lot of chances to score. So that will be important. And in our attack, I think then is the next big battle, right? This team has been creating chances under Ten Hag's management, but was not able to finish much. But this is a match again where most likely we will see a lot of chances being created. What do you make of how our attackers, the number 10s and the striker, get along in this one?
See, scoring chances is all a confidence game. I think we have had some of our confidence back since the Rude era. I'd call it the Rude phase since it was only four
Yeah,
games. Definitely lesser oppositions, Leicester, PAOK, Chelsea. But yeah, I think our attack is back. Of course, I'd like to see our strikers score more. But I'm very happy. I'm excited to see Bruno, Garnacho, Ahmad back on the scoring sheet. I just hope that even Rashford and Højlund, they also find their scoring feet. And with Rashford, with the all the break, a good break he has had, went to see a basketball game, flew in 6 hours for that. And Højlund didn't do great in the international break. So hopes are high. Let's see how much of a center forward role can Højlund play against the new opposition. I also think that Rashford is very much, capable of playing that number nine role. He
yeah,
has anyway been playing a very free role, but I think where his powers lie is from the left and cutting in and
yeah.
inside. But yeah, it's very much possible that we might see him at number
No,
nine
I
as well.
think on this note, let's talk about our predicted 11. How does that play out? We will start with the goalkeepers. I think no question there. Both of us believe it's going to be Onana. So
Definitely.
there is no real doubt or question there. But after that is where things start to get a little difficult to predict, so to say. Both of us are saying Delict and Euro start. And Euro, actually, I was not too sure if he starts this one because he's hasn't had a game in the Premier League straight away coming with a starting position. But I thought in this setup, and he has been fit for like close to 2 weeks, so maybe he gets his chance. I think that is where I believe I went for Martinez, you went for Shaw. Both have had their issues with injury. Martinez apparently didn't come back the fit, but we haven't heard anything to suggest that he's definitely out. So I have a feeling he will start in that left center back position. Why did you choose Shaw?
Shaw has done a job there. I think we'll need all the intensity we can. As intelligent as Evans is, as great as Martinez is, I believe it's time we see some of Shaw. I think he'll get the minutes. And Shaw could very well be part of the left wing back as well. But I think centre back, is somewhere we'll see Shaw in this one. Uh,
Yeah,
Ruben also talked about Shaw being not fit, and he said he'll do his best to get his confidence high, to get him minutes as well. So that's why I feel Shaw is a
maybe
shoe
he
in there.
starts and gets taken off at 60 or something like that. Fair
Probably.
point. Then let's talk about the midfield. I think fullbacks. I'll quickly cover those. Dalo, Mazarawi. Although we know that Amorim likes to have uh, attacking wing back in his 11 as well, one of the two. But we spoke about the fact that how he's been talking in the media about it's difficult to teach attackers defense. So maybe initially in his stint, we will see Dalo and Mazarawi continue there. But eventually, I assume one of the attackers will take that position.
I do believe Dalo is a good attacking option too. Man could have single-handedly saved Eric Ten Hag's job, but chose not to score. He knew that better things are on their way, so he chose not to score that day. But and yeah, I mean, I have full faith in Dalo in his attacking prowess, and Mazuroi I feel is a very intelligent player. I think he's in our best standing. We have talked multiple times about this. I think Mazuroi can do a job at any of the 11 positions we are seeing on the screen now. He's that intelligent a player.
Yeah, yeah. And then what about the two center midfielders? Why Ugarte Bruno?
I I feel Ugarte is the one who knows Amorim the best, and amongst all the players, Amorim knows him best. Ugarte was built by in the lab by Amorim, and Ugarte is the destroyer we need. And he's had his starts. He's the one who's in proper starting form because he's played our last 3-4 games. He's played both the games in international break. Scored a winner in the injury time, by the way, assisted by Facundo Pellistri as well.
Yeah,
Uh, Great United connection there. And Bruno, according to me, does both of the things well. He
yeah,
progresses well, and he goes back as well. I mean, we have seen multiple times that even if and when our defenders don't track back, Bruno would be there.
correct.
So I do believe it's a good balance between Ugarte and Bruno. You
Yeah.
went for Kase and Mainu. What's your thinking there?
So my only thought process there was Ugarte is coming back from international duty, went back to South America. So I don't know how fit he is now. I wouldn't say unfit, but how 100% he is for this particular game. So which is why I felt Casemiro would play the destroyer role. And Menu, I think again he has been there since the first training session for Amorim. So I felt Meno would be a little step ahead in terms of some of the other options I was looking at. I was probably looking at Menu slash Ericsson in that role, and even probably Mount, but Mount again has been fit, unfit. So although Amorim has spoken at length about Mount, I'm not sure if he's fit enough to start in the 11 or maybe not given the preference. So that is why I went for Menu there over others. And
Amore Amore mentioned that he has two positions in mind for Mount. I believe one of them is the attacking positions. What other position do you think he's talking
I
about?
think it is the Bruno Menu position that we're talking about right now. It is that progressive
Hmm.
midfielder of the two center midfielders he plays. So I have a feeling it is that one.
But I don't think we'll be utilizing Mount's pressing. there at most. I think his pressing would be best
Or
utilized in the
maybe he's talking
attacking
about the
midfielder
two
position.
number 10s. I don't know. It's unsure, but
Probably,
he could be
probably.
talking
That's
about the
where I thought. That's
yeah.
where I thought he's talking about.
Could be,
Anyway,
could be.
what do you have in the two attacking midfielders slash winger options?
So I went for Ahmad and Bruno. Bruno, obviously, because I hadn't put him in the number 8, so to say, spot, he has to feature in the 11. And I think number 10 is where he's utilized the best. And we saw under Root, the moment he got his attacking flair and defensive responsibilities reduced, the kind of impact he can have on the game. So Bruno is one who I go for. Then I was torn between Ahmad and Rashford to take up the other number 10 spot. But given the form Ahmad has been in, Ahmad should get his place in the 11. For me, obviously, it's Garnacho, Rashford, Ahmad. All three can take that spot. But for me, it is Ahmad in this one. And I see you have Ahmad as well. And the second one is Rashford for you.
I don't think I have the heart to, take Rashford out of the playing 11. I don't think you'd ever see a predicted 11 from me and not see Rashford in there. So yeah, I mean, my attacking midfielders, Ahmad is a special case because he's played in that position for Sunderland as well. Like he was brilliant there, and he has been our shining star in the last 3, 4 matches in the rule as well. And Rashford, I feel, has had quite a few training sessions with Amorim. Let's see. I think we both went for Hoyland as number 9.
Yeah.
It very well might be that Mount starts and Rashford is starting up top and Hoyland is dropped. I wouldn't be too surprised, but yeah,
That could
this
happen
is
in
what
the
I
11
feel.
that I have in place as well, right? You could see Ahmad, Bruno,
Yeah,
and Rashford instead of Ahmad, Bruno Hoyland. I'm just going for Hoyland
correct.
because he's in my FPL team. So just manifesting it and ensuring that he plays and gets his minutes.
Brilliant, brilliant. On that, what would be our ideal score for your FPL team and for Amorim's first start?
I am saying we get a 3-1 win. We concede a goal because over the 90 minutes, maybe the team is not on the same wavelength, so we make a mistake, concede a goal. But 3-1 is what I am going for. And as I mentioned, the Hoyland in my FPL team, so I'm going for a Hoyland brace and a Bruno goal. What do you think?
I'm a clean sheet person. You know me very well. I'll be going for a 2 goal difference, but a 2-0 victory for us. Goals from Bruno and Hoyland. Hoyland back on the score sheet. That'll be brilliant to see.
Great. So I think this is been a good one. We are really looking forward to the Ipswich game. Long may the Amorim era continue and get us a lot of trophies. Then this is just the beginning of that. Uh, do let us know your thoughts. How much did you like this one? Let us know what you think of the predicted score and the predicted lineup in the comments. And give us a subscribe if you liked it. And thanks for joining in. As always, this is our perch. Let's knock him off. Until next time, stay united.